we're away on the formation lap for the final race of the season. And just 1 point the difference between Milwaukee and AJ Patton, but they couldn't be further apart on the grid if they tried. Patton taking the pole position here. Milwaukee 8 seconds back, starting in the back of the GT3 grid. Milwaukee led much of this championship season, but he's going to lose it all potentially here at the end, unless he can work a miracle in that Mercedes-Benz. And the Super Trofeos both electing to start from the back. This race doesn't matter for either. The championship's already been tidied up at the end of last weekend. As they come around the final corner for the final time this season, the 19th race of the year, and one that matters the most for GT3. 1 point the difference between AJ and Blake, and these two Super Trofeos starting from the back, and the green flag's up and the throttles are down as they shoot down the front straightaway, and these Super Trofeos with a huge amount of overspeed, and Restrepo goes in 3 wide with Milwaukee to Zale, and they make contact and they door bang. As we see Wills side by side with Restrepo. Moreau, will he look to the inside? No, he looks to the inside of Wills instead, and they make contact, and he spins Wills out. That contact unsettled the car enough, and now Wills has gone around. And Milwaukee now all over the back of Moreau. Milwaukee now losing touch with the front pack after that disastrous turn 1 where they went 3 wide. As we see Restrepo to the inside of Zale, and they make contact. As Restrepo runs deep into turn 8. Moreau now trying to capitalize on these two's fighting. Down into turn number 11, turn number 10. And will Moreau get the drive off the corner? Will the Super Trofeo have the speed down the straightaways? And Moreau coming in with a ton of speed. He looks to the inside of Zale, but he's going to keep out of it for now, brake a little bit early and let him go. Probably the smart move. Zale out wide. Moreau now looking to the inside, but not quite close enough. Milwaukee all over the back of him now. And will Moreau have an opportunity into turn 1? Zale takes that line a little wide. And Moreau now down to the inside. He's got a nose in there into turn 1. Will he be able to make it happen under the brakes? And he comes in real shallow, but he's able to make it happen. Zale runs way wide, leaves a ton of space. And now Milwaukee looking to make a move as well. And Milwaukee makes contact with the rear quarter panel, and he spins Zale right out on the exit of turn 2. Just put the nose in there and spun him out as we see Restrepo and Moreau battling. Moreau with a beautiful pass down to turn 4, sweeping down the inside and now sweeping right away from him as Milwaukee now looks to re-overtake Restrepo. These two coming together into turn 1 as Restrepo follows Moreau's line into the corner. They both run wide. Milwaukee going to take the clean sweep right underneath. Milwaukee up into 5th now. Moreau up into 4th. And Will's still trying to close up. He's onto the back of Azale now too after that contact from Moreau at the beginning of race number 2. And Matthew sideways, and he has gone off, and Will's shooting to the inside of Azale in turn 14. He's going to get that pass done. He's up 2 spots in 1 corner. And Kobe overshoots the entry on the brakes into turn 1. And while the braking issues may have been fixed, it seems like the driver issues are still being sorted. And Blake getting a huge slide on the exit at turn 9. Wills now smells the blood in the water, and will he make a move down the back straightaway? And Wills with a great drive out of the corner. He's in the slipstream. Will he pull out down? And he does. He pulls out, and they're side by side into the sweeper. Will that Lamborghini be able to stay planted? It does. A little wiggle in the front, but he's through, and he's up into 5th. As Milwaukee way late on the brakes, and Will's way out wide, and Milwaukee putting the nose there right up under the gearbox, but no contact was made. Sweeping the last 2 turns. Will Wills be able to stretch this, or will Milwaukee be able to respond? As Moreau now looking to move up into the podium spots, and he's coming up onto the back of Desert Kobe in that Kobe Racing Honda number 24. Kobe with a conservative line into turn 1. Moreau all over the bumper now. What can he do down into turn number 4? Moreau way out wide into the marbles, off circuit. And late on the brakes, closing up car lengths on Kobe. And down the first long straightaway into turn number 8. Does Moreau have enough of an advantage? He looks to the inside, but he's not going to be close enough. But Kobe runs himself in too deep. He runs way too wide, and Moreau almost follows him through, and they door bang slightly. And Wills now is going to take advantage of Desert Kobe running wide as well, and both Lamborghinis are through. And now it's a battle for the final podium spot between the 2 of them as Kobe tries to remount and attack. And now Wills caught back up to the back of Moreau. Of course, Moreau sending him way off on the first lap. How will Wills respond? Will the frustration have built up? As Wills sliding through that sweeper and all over the back of Moreau now. And Moreau slightly defensive. That shallow line's going to run him wide. And Wills going to take a clean line. And he's down on the outside. And they're side by side. And Wills almost has him completely clear. He does have him completely clear into turn 1. But Moreau's going to send it late on the brakes. And they stay side by side. But Wills finally, with that inside line in turn 2, is going to complete the pass. Can Moreau respond down into turn 4? What will he have? This is the very same spot where they made contact. But Moreau is going to be much more conservative this time around. And will they choose to keep fighting? Will they both decide to focus forward on this second position? Wesley Parker looks like he might become increasingly vulnerable to the attacks of these 2 Super Trofeos. As Patton's now pulled a 9.5 second gap over second place, and he is well and truly clear of this field. Still a little over halfway left in this race. Will Wills be able to make a late charge and have an answer through the pit cycle? We didn't get to see the full extent of Will's pace last race as he was disqualified early. And maybe he'll have an opportunity to chase down all the way to the lead. But first, he's got to pass Wesley Barker here for second. Moreau's still in his mirrors, but he's all focused forward now. But will Moreau see that as an opportunity to go ultra aggressive, as there's just under a second between all three of these cars in a battle for second. Will's looking incredibly squirrely through the final sequence of corners, and Moreau's now closed that gap up, and Wills may start to have to look in the mirror as he runs wide. He runs way wide, and Moreau now has a huge run down into turn one, but he's picked the outside, and Will's gonna break early. Moreau around the outside, but he's maybe pinched himself a bit too shallow, and he's vulnerable to the crossover. Will's on the outside, but he's not gonna be able to do it, as Barker with a huge slide in turn three. And now the two Lamborghinis have swapped places, but they've still made time on Barker, who went way wide with a huge slide out of turn three, as they both run nose to tail, all three, down the back straightaway into turn 8. Will they be able to make a move? What will they decide to do? Wills looks super to the inside, moves back up. Moreau now taking a super shallow line, and Barker is going to run wide. He's going to run wide, and these two are now going to go through. Wills side by side. Moreau already through up into second, and Barker's going to concede the place and let these two roll on through. Second and third they run now, the Super Trofeos, with a 12.4 second gap to the leader ahead. And it's been a fantastic battle between these two, charging all the way through the pack, up onto the podium places. Wills looks like he might have been the faster of the two cars, but through traffic, Moreau able to take the advantage and move up ahead of him. They run nose to tail now, and you know Wills has a chip on his shoulder after last race and after the events of this have unfolded this season. And you know he wants to win this race and let everyone know that he is the top driver in this series. As Moreau gets way loose on the exit, Wills now looking to the outside. He's side by side down the front straightaway into turn one. What's going to happen? Moreau keeps it late on the brakes. Can he squeeze Wills out into turn two? He's going to leave just enough space, and that's going to let Wills go through on the outside. And Wills has now cleared him, but Moreau with a good drive. Wills had to check up. The car got loose. Moreau on the inside, and they door bang, and they make more contact into turn four, and Moreau's going to run Wills all the way off the track. Wills barely able to keep it together. Moreau running way wide, and they're nose to tail down the straightaway. Moreau looking up the inside into turn 8 in this heavy braking zone. No braking boards, and Wills just with a slight flinch, he runs a bit wide. Moreau able to keep it shallow. They're side by side once again, putting on a show for us. And Moreau going for the switchback. He dives to the inside. More contact made between the two of them, and Moreau gonna retake the position here for second place. And you've got to think the frustration and the animosity is growing every single lap. These two are on track together, making contact. How is Wills going to respond? Nothing yet. Going to remount an attack. We've seen a lot of it happen down the front straightaway with setup in these final parts of turn number 15 and 16. Now Moreau has to keep it tight. He cannot allow Wills to get a better drive than him off of turn 16. And he runs a bit wide, but so does Wills. But Wills still with a better drive, and they're down the inside, and they door bang once again. Wills clears him into turn one. What's he going to do? He's going to stay shallow. Moreau trying to sweep around the outside. Is Moreau going to be there? No, he's not. He's going to have to concede, and Wills has gone back around into second place. And Wills has been bullied. He's been pushed off track. He's been disqualified. He's been taken out of many races due to mechanicals, but not today. He has pushed his way back through and up into second place and into the lead of Super Trofeo. Does Moreau have a response, running way wide on the exit of turn number 7? And Wills now, he needs to grow that gap out and just flush out any chance of a counterattack. And he just has over half a second now. Can he continue to grow that and pull away from Moreau? And now he's pulled out just under a second as we're halfway through this race, just 12.5 minutes left. And we're going to see guys starting to take their stops. Patton, now your race leader, dives into the pit lane, making contact with the wall. Will that have caused any damage? And was he able to get it slowed down in time? Late on the brakes, locked up, and car pulled to the left there. We'll see if he was able to get that slowed down in time. As we see Dezo Covey now diving in the pit lane, and Azael gonna make contact with him into the pit lane. Azael, more contact, plows right into the back of him on the entrance. And Azael over the radio, talking displeased with Dezo on the entrance to the pit lane there. As we go back to the battle now for the lead as it stands. And Moreau done well to keep in touch. And he's under half a second now as Will's sliding through the corners. Does Moreau have an answer? And can he remount and attack to retake the lead? And Will's not so good through the sweeper. Moreau closed up a huge amount, but Moreau gonna run wide himself. And Patton lucky, it looks like he was just fractions of a mile an hour away from getting a penalty himself, but he's gonna keep clean as both Super Trofeos lied, both dive down into the pit lane. And who's gonna be late on the brakes? Will they get it slowed down in time? And did Justin Wills overcook it again? And did we just watch Justin Wills with another pit lane speeding penalty? We'll have to find out as the stewards review the data. And Moreau rolling out of his box now. Wills almost stalled the car, leaving, and Moreau now able to retake the lead through the pit cycle. That's the second time he's had a stroke of genius there with his mechanics in the pit lane on a competitor. And they've just been able to put on those 4 fresh tires, and Sunoco feel better than anyone else today. And Wills did not get a penalty. It was very close once again, but this time it seems like he learned his lesson. And Patton's moved back to the lead through the pit cycles. And Blake and Patton now both on track together. And Blake going a lap down. But will Blake do anything dirty to try and take this championship? And he's a second and a half now ahead of Milwaukee. I'm not sure that there is any funny business to be had. And Pat on the edge with track limits. Just under 8 minutes left in this race. And speaking of track limits, Justin Wills having to go back into the pit lane again. Track limit violation for him. That's going to ruin his momentum forward. And once again, Moreau, the benefactor of mistakes from his competitors, as Will's going to have to serve that drive-through penalty. And Milwaukee running way wide in turn 3, doing anything he can to close up to Patton, who now has to run a conservative race. He can't afford to take that track limit strike and serve the penalty. now developed into one of relative calm. Just over 6 minutes left in the race. And it seems like everything's been tidied up, including the championship. And it looks like it's going the way of AJ Patton in GT3. As Milwaukee can see AJ on track, but he's now been a lap down. He's led your points for much of this year, but when it matters the most, the points have swung. Coming in with a 6-point lead, and now not even on the lead lap. And Justin arguing over the radio with his team. Disqualification last time for failure to serve a penalty. And the teammate kindly reminding him. Dezo Covey now closing up to 4th place as Zayla in front. And this will be for an inherited podium once Wills serves that drive-through. And Covey closing up now all over Zale. And will Zale be able to keep his cool and keep his position? Down now into turn 4, will Covey look for a move? He's not close enough. But Azale is going to run deep, and Covey's going to sweep down the inside. And Covey moving up into 4th place now. And Will's now right on the back of Moreau, but he's got to come into the pits and serve that drive-through penalty. And where's Dezo? He's at turn number 8. Will he be able to make up the time difference? This is a long pit lane, but it's a long ways to the front straightaway for Covey. What can he do? And the drive-through's been cleared for Justin Wills, and Covey and Azale not able to capitalize on the opportunity. Now coming to lap 7th place, Wesley Barker. And will Barker get out of the way or will he try and play some games? Let's see. And Patton looking to the inside. Barker gonna leave him the space, but Patton, going for a half spin. He's able to save it, but he goes for a huge slide, and it looks like Wesley is gonna let it by, do the gentlemanly thing. I'm telling them that you don't take the washers out right away. Man, he's gonna get the zinc shivers. And is this for position? It looks like Barker is caught up to Restrepo now for 6th place. And it's the final lap. Oh, that's the wrong McLaren. I've been before. As Moreau takes the fastest lap with just one more to go. And we're on the final lap, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Patton not going to be able to take that final fastest lap. And Patton now, he's run a clean race for the most part. A little scared for track limits, but he's run conservative here at the end, and it's been okay because he has the gap to do it. As he comes around 2 corners to go, and he has this race win, and he has this title. And he's done it. Just half a straightaway to go. AJ Patton is your race number 2 winner here at Misano, and he's your GT3 World Champion here in Knights Racing League Nights. And he's chased down Milwaukee all season. And he's done it now in the final moments of the final race. Give me a clean lap, Restrepo. As Moreau and Will's going to take the last 2 spots on the podium, charging all the way from the very back and almost all the way up to the front.